Today, I was going to talk to you about patterns and playing games with patterns and seeing patterns. A lot of us, to gain consciousness and elevation, one of the things, is to feel things, yes, but to join the dots and find the patterns, right? So, as we always say, we've got to find the root causal emotion of where this pattern began. Some of us are carrying these patterns, these emotional injuries through from other lifetimes. Some happen this lifetime. So a lot of us are, we've done a lot of work. A lot of us here have done a fair bit of work. We're aware of patterns. We're aware of spotting the negative energy and the negative emotion, which is very good because then we got to feel it to heal it, right? And be conscious of that and acknowledge the emotion. Sometimes for the females, we have to really dig deep and feel. That's our archetype. Sometimes for the males, it's more about an intellectual knowing, and then the link gets deleted or dissolved, right? So be conscious that males and females are two different archetypes, yeah? And from what Pete and I understand, like he's probably cried, I don't know, 10% of what my tears have been through this journey. And through our clients and seeing clients, it's like men process stuff differently to women. Okay. And it's okay because we're different archetypes. So what we need to not judge the opposite male in relationships, especially if they're not crying and carrying on like we are, us females, that's okay. But if the men get the pattern and understand the pattern, the intelligence of the pattern, they can intellectualize it from a masculine standpoint, because that's their archetype, and then move through it more like fluidly, okay? So understanding that both male and females have different ways to process, not always that way. Sometimes, in a deep medicine journey, Pete's bawling his eyes out. So don't think it's got to be that one way. But what we are really conditioned through this awakening journey is to spot the negative emotion. So what I was thinking the other day was like, why don't we start spotting the positive stuff in our life, right? The patterns, okay? So everything's a pattern. Look at geometry. That's the form of the universe, yeah? So patterns of good in our life. So I set the intention the other morning to, okay, show me higher self. And I thought I'm going to drop into kid play games here. Yeah. And we're always getting told inner child work, be a child, act, excitement, and like, don't think, just act like a child, And I thought, all right, well, I'm going to play like a child would. And so I set the intention, okay, show me the synchronicity, show me dolphins today. I don't mind which way it gets manifested, just putting it out there, show me dolphins. And I started to play. And so we were riding to the coffee shop and I saw dolphins in someone's front yard. There was a beautiful dolphin fountain, 5 of them, all squirting water out of their mouth. And I was like, boom, there's number one. Awesome. And then we took the kids down to the beach and I couldn't believe it, because I thought of it. I was like, I wonder when the next dolphin's going to show up, play this game. But you have to let go. You can't want to see it, right? You've got to there's a fine line to manifest things, but not be in control and force it. Yeah. So then I saw a dolphin painted on one of the bins down at the beach. I was like, boom, there it is, baby. And I literally, like 2 minutes before it, thought, when am I going to see the next dolphin? So the energy was already trying to come into me. And I was like, got all excited like a kid. And then right after that, there was a summer camp and there was dolphin, like octopus, dolphins, sharks on the top of the gazebos, on top of the tents, dolphin again. I went, thank you very much. I love this. It worked, right? So I just couldn't wait to share with you guys. When you are the creator being, it's time maybe in some days, you have your low days, I get it. But then on the up days, play games, because the spirit of the energy wants you to be playful, right? And to bring joy. That's the expression of source. So if you have to try to play the game, because if you don't like playing games, like I tell you what, one of Pete's brothers had a girlfriend, and she always wanted to drink and play card games and win. And me and Pete are just not competitive. Like, we don't want to sit around trying to win and beat each other in card games and when we're like having a bubbles or whatever, you know. And it used to drive us crazy. And the other day I thought, yeah, that old me never wanted to play games, because it was somewhere along the line it must have got spoiled playing games. There was another time I remember as a child, I was playing houses with my sister and she stole my house. You know, as a little kid, we were playing house. This is my house, that's your house. And when I went to the toilet, she went and stole my house. I had the greenhouse that my parents built, so it was an awesome house. Like, it was shady, it was cool, it had a front door. And so when I knocked on the door, she's like, hey. And I remember I spat at her. And then guess what happened? She went and told on me, and I got freaking smacked and put on my bed because I spat on my sister's face. So there, and then I went, oh, that's probably why I don't like games, right, as a kid. And we get out of that kid-like state. So, you know, there's patterns with things, why we don't like certain things, or this emotion is in our tank. But then we've got to, at one point, change that, right? Because the universal law is joy and kid-like. So I'm sharing this to help you guys learn to remember to play. We have to get back into play energy. So setting the intention, and this is not just to have a fun game. This is also to see how good you are at manifesting stuff, because it's awesome. Okay, I want to manifest and I want to see the pattern of this, right, in a positively charged way. Maybe, you know, 3 women smiling at me and giving me a compliment today, or I don't know, manifesting an extra, like, because in America they don't give the sugars away, like there's no sugar on the counters in America. I don't know why, it must be expensive here. So there's never any, like, when you get your coffee you have to you're laughing at me. When you get your coffee, you got to say, oh, 1 sugar, and sometimes it's a bit bitter, and Pete likes the 2nd sugar, you know. So, but you got to go back up and ask for a sugar, because they don't leave sugar just on the counter in coffee shops. But in Australia, there's sugar everywhere. I guess we've got cane farmers, right? So it's always like, damn it, I've got to go ask for another sugar, and they're always a bit stingy about giving it to you. Like in America, there's nothing, you get nothing for free in America. And so it's been funny. So we were like, okay, let's try and manifest a coffee shop with sugar, you know, like the small things in life, right? So look, the thing is setting the intention so you can manifest, so your life is in flow, yeah? And this is then you can play on the low level, like the dolphins, and then you can turn it right up and start manifesting. And one part of life is relationships, right? That is so important, because togetherness is the key to ascension. We can't go alone. We've got to all join back into soul family and star family and go up. But a lot of us don't want to play with other people because of the pain of like me spitting on my sister and then getting in trouble for it, right? So we get allergic to people. So right in this session today, we're going to drop into meditation and see the patterns of things in relationships, because often relationships are the ones, the keys why we can't manifest anything. The reason why you're not intercepting a good manifestation, a good business deal, or abundance, or the right relationship, or love, or whatnot, is because of stained past experiences and patterns. So for you right now, I want you to think about a pattern with females. Is there any females in your life right now? Could be your wife, could be your sister, family member, or friends that you're having issues with, right? Ask your higher self, anyone there? Probably. Is there any like conflict with a female? Like, think about the female around you. Maybe it's a work colleague that's given you pain in the past, right? Or maybe you're just having disagreement with someone and it's a female, right? So now I want you to think about the first time that you felt like that with a female. When was the first time that you didn't feel respected by a female in your life? Where does the pattern start? This is how we find the clues to the root causal emotions to see patterns. So it's like perfume, right? It's like a smell that you'll never forget from high school. You know, when you started wearing deodorant, for example, and you never forget that smell, right? Because your hormones are turning on, you're starting to get a little bit smelly. And then you get deodorant and you'll never forget the smell. It's the same with emotions. You'll never forget that feeling that person brought to you. So then you start to see and look from on top of the mountain down at your life, and you realize, I had issues with that lady at work. Then I had that problem with that lady. Then I had that disagreement with that friend that disrespected me. See, we all of a sudden have a pattern going on with the female energy. So if you want to manifest with togetherness in the future, we have to bring in and open to the feminine energy. And then it's the same with the masculine energy. Think about your life right now. Who in your vortex are you struggling with, or having a disagreement, or there's a bit of a weird resistant energy with males, a male archetype? Maybe there's no love from a male in your life. Maybe you don't have a partner, right? That's okay. But see the lack of respect and love, and find the clue where it could have started back in your life at the beginning. Relationship with your father, how was that? Or relationship with the first sports coach at school, how was that? Did you feel nervous around that person? Intimidated? Maybe you're trying to please them to try and be seen, right? And then you move up to, dating. Well, not for you blokes, or maybe, I don't know, but it's like the male, so seeing the pattern of the male energy playing out in your life. So you've got to find the scent of the perfume in today, the top layer. So this is like the icing on the cake, right? The icing on the cake is the sweetest bit, because the sweetest bit is the most hurtful. So let's say I'm getting triggered by Pete. He's the icing on the cake. He's the exterior. But what it's really showing me is there's a discomfort inside the middle of the cake, where it began cooking in the kitchen, in the bowl, right? So Pete's just the sweet icing on the cake, bringing me the trigger to help me find the root cause, not actually him. He's just the sweet angel that's just poking the wound, right? So you've got to feel where these patterns, it's one of two, male or female. And then like the branches go out from there in all different directions. But when you're healing, it's like find the pattern, and then you have to then go, okay, in my future manifestation, why do I keep receiving the same crazy lady that disrespects me, for example, right? Or the male that, doesn't want to love me. Or I struggle to find that, love in a male, right? Just for an example. So then you start to go, okay, I've got the clues, the synchronicity, the game, right? So when we're playing the game in life, you could set the intention, show me what my faults are so I can have the opposite of that attracted into my life, right? But if you don't ask, it won't come. But I guarantee you, like the dolphin story, it'll come. But you've got to have eyes for it. You've got to have awareness and opening. You've got to even know about this, because this is how powerful it is. So once you dissolve the pattern, right, of the male or the female energy, what do you think is going to happen? You start to manifest the right relationships, the right work colleagues, the right job, right? All of these things exterior to us become the good ones, not the negative experiences. But we have to be aware that we can create the pattern unconsciously. Like we just dwell in it, we didn't even know about it, right? And that's the awakening. So we've got to identify patterns. So to identify patterns, the easiest way to learn how to do this is just start with the patterns of something like a child would learn. Don't go full on if you're not really ready for that yet, but you just start small, like the dolphin analogy, and find the patterns through that. Because once you start spotting patterns, that's the key to everything, right? That's the key to everything. You got to spot the pattern. So the universe was based on pattern. So that's why we changed our logo. We had the air sign originally when we started our business. We changed it to the flower of life because it's a pattern. Everything's interwoven into everything. But you got to see the pattern if you choose to look. If you want higher awareness, you've got to spot the patterns. It's like, okay, why do I keep seeing red cars? That's cool. Maybe it's just a game, right? Why do I keep seeing women with one broken leg or no leg? That's interesting. I'll tell you right now why I kept seeing those, because I had a past life where my leg got chopped off and I didn't think anyone was going to love me, right? So I drank myself to death. Then I went through a big process. So there are clues in your life for your elevation if you choose to see it.